It's Tuesday, the 26th day in the month of November. A warm welcome to all our viewers watching, wherever you are in Jamaica or indeed around the world. This is Jamaica Magazine and I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Coming up in today's show, taking care of your heart. But that's not all. Keep watching to find out the rest.
We are not entitled to not even tomorrow, but we got to make the most of today. And we do so by understanding that as Jamaicans, our spirit must be a spirit of unity, a spirit of purpose, and a spirit of gratitude, where we appreciate what is taking place, and we also appreciate that it never took place before. So even though we are stressed, we are blessed.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, November 26, 2024. The Bank of Jamaica BOJ is continuing the gradual easing of its monetary policy stance, announcing a reduction in its policy interest rate to 6.25%. This is the rate at which commercial banks obtain money from the central bank, which then determines the interest rate they charge customers for loans and other financial products. The new rate, which is 25 basis points lower than before, was decided in two meetings of the BOJ's Monetary Policy Committee on November 19 and 20 and took effect on November 22. BOJ Governor Richard Biles made the announcement at the central bank's quarterly monetary policy report press conference held yesterday.
The decision to further ease monetary policy reflects the committee's view that following the temporary impact of Hurricane Beryl on prices, inflation is becoming more anchored in the bank's target range of 4 to 6%. And B, the inflation outlook has improved.
Explaining the positive inflation outlook that led to the policy decision, Mr. Biles points out that annual headline inflation for October was 4.9%, down from 5.7% in September. For the same period, core inflation, which excludes agricultural food products and fuel, was 4.5%, the 16th consecutive month it has been recorded below 6%. The BOJ's governor says inflation remains on a consistent downward path and is expected to stay broadly within the central bank's target range of 4 to 6% over the next 2 years. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, is making plans to expand its financial offerings to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. Acting Chief Executive Officer Harold Davis says the goal is to foster the growth and resilience of these entities through greater access to equity, loans, grants and other forms of funding.
We are committed to upping that game to make sure that more of our MSMEs have access to different forms of finance, whether equity, loan, grant, and otherwise. And some new products are coming on stream, so we're excited about that as well.
Mr. Davis asserts that the JBDC offers strategic initiatives that are designed to strengthen local entrepreneurs' ability to operate effectively in an evolving business environment. These include technical services, financial support, and strategic market readiness programs tailored to help businesses build sustainable foundations. In the last fiscal year, we assisted close to 8,500 entrepreneurs, served 8,500, and this year we're on track to top that number. He says the JBDC facilitated $100 million in funding to MSMEs over the past fiscal year to support improvements to their financial stability and operations scale. The Ministry of Agriculture is working to establish long-term supply contracts between farmers and hotels in Jamaica. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says this will add a new dimension to the work already being done through the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Agri-Linkages Exchange platform ALEX to connect farmers with buyers, including hotels.
When our farmers have long-term supply contracts, they are able to invest, they're able to make better business decisions, they're able to partner with other farmers to ensure that they have that supply. And that is one of the things that we have to work on as we move into the next chapter.
He says this will not only provide farmers with more stability and growth opportunities, but also ensure food security and strengthen the local economy. Still on agriculture, the ministry has earmarked $120 million to purchase 2,000 small drip irrigation kits, which will be distributed to farmers next year. Minister Floyd Green made the announcement during the recent Eat Jamaican Day celebrations at Devon House. He explains that the kits, which are to be disbursed within the first quarter of 2025, are to help farmers manage their crops during the expected dry season.
What we're doing now, preparing for drought. Because we do expect that come early next year, we're going to go back into drought.
The ministry will also be purchasing 3 new tractors for the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, to assist farmers with land preparation. In the meantime, Minister Green is calling on young people to join the sector and help in the development of smart systems.
I need some young people who are looking at bringing AI to our agricultural processes. We need programmers, we need agricultural engineers, we need researchers. So I don't want you to just look at agriculture on the farming aspect. I want you to look at the supporting fields to get involved in agriculture so that we can continue to eat Jamaican for a very, very long time.
And finally, Jamaica has earned an award for most improved immunization coverage based on the progress made in 2023. The Henry C. Smith Award was announced at the 38th Caribbean Expanded Program on Immunization (EPI) Managers Meeting held in St. Kitts and Nevis recently. Jamaica's immunization coverage in 2023 for the vaccines given to infants under 1 year of age, that is BCG, polio, and pentavalent, increased to over 99% post-pandemic. There were also improvements in MMR given in the second year of life. For the first dose, coverage was 92%, and for the second dose, 89%. Jamaica's EPI manager and Director of Family Health Services, Dr. Julia Rowe Porter, says the award is evidence that the immunization team is committed, resilient, and focused on achieving the target for 95% vaccination coverage. She, however, acknowledges that there is still much work to be done to combat the growing threat of vaccine hesitancy. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
It's not often that men will speak out about issues affecting them, but Gemar McFarlane wants to inspire others to share and heal. He shares his mental health journey with us.
Thomas Paine, English-born American philosopher, once said, "The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection." Statistics indicate that our men and boys continue to suffer in silence, as they are oftentimes not socialized to seek help, and in particular mental health. They are socialized to feel that they're masculine and powerful and strong, and they don't have to display or say anything about the issues that affect them.
Around the time in high school, I went to Ireland High School. Around when I was doing my CSEC, I started experiencing strange phenomenon. So I would start to hallucinate. Of course, you have the mood fluctuations, and I'm wondering what is going on. I start to get these ideas in my head that, I have powers, or, what they call delusions of grandeur, when a bipolar person becomes in a manic state. So you get all of this energy, which is great for creativity, you get all these ideas, but there comes a point where it kind of teeters off. If you're not in control of yourself and your emotions, you can become erratic and sometimes intimidating. There I was in high school, not sure what's going on, and naturally, my father's a pastor, so the first thing he went to, demon possession. So they call up the church and come over to the house, and everybody start, pray and olive oil and all sort of thing. And eventually, when that wasn't working too, I'm not saying, that not real and God now work, but eventually somebody said, let's take him to UWI hospital and see if there's something else at play, and the doctors did their analysis and they said, okay, this looks like it could be a mental disorder. They started me on a course of medication, get the diagnosis. They thought it was schizophrenia at first because the symptoms are similar. And then you go through this whole journey of medication and side effects until you get the right one, and you start to come down and they say, okay, this is actually a mental illness called bipolar type 1. And all that simply means is he has to go through a lifestyle change. So can't drink as much, definitely can't smoke, have to get my sleep, have to get my rest, have to exercise, and for a time stay on medication, right? And it took a while to get to a place of what you would call me a high functioning software. It took me a while of denial, so I'm on the medication and it's so deceptive. You feel great, I'm normal, not going, but as soon as I came off the medication or I start drink too much or I'm out too late, bam, we have what's called an episode. And the thing about having an episode, a man like me in Jamaica, very large, can be intimidating. If I'm on the street alone and I'm not surrounded by a community of people that know me very well, I can be intimidated. One night I'm there, I decide to go off by myself at the bar, and I'm erratic, I'm intense, I'm passionate, I'm going up to random people talking, sharing my crazy ideas, and them take it as a check. Again, we as Jamaican men, we have this thing about aggression and proving ourselves. So immediately them say, no man, this youth a violate, we have to deal him. So, big fight start and I'm manic, I'm high. So if you are 10, me I come 100. So whatever you put into me, I'm gonna, manipulate and come back more. So big fight start and eventually somebody else take up a piece of board and go so wookum. And I went on the ground and it kind of shook me and I kind of came back to my senses for a bit. I'm like, whoa, I'm in an episode, I need to get to the hospital, I need to get back on my treatment, right? So that was a wake-up call for me personally to take it more seriously because, your family and friends are worried, searching where is my son. You can imagine when my mother come into A&E and see me bleeding and in a manic state. So at that time I was about 18 or so. I'm 28 now, so I was about 10 years ago or so. It made me kind of come to terms with the fact that I have to shift my lifestyle, I have to take control, not just for myself, but for the people around me. And thankfully, after I decided to get more serious about it, I haven't had an episode in a very long time, years, as I said. I'm currently a production manager. I was able to get back on track with my dreams. I didn't use this as an excuse to say, all right, I have this thing where I probably can't make up too much noise, I can't go after the big things, just stay quiet, take a small job. I said, no, I still want to be a big filmmaker, I want to make movies, I want to make music. So I decided, if all I have to do is take a one pill every night or every other night and just don't drink too much, which I can manage, and sleep and work out. That's a good trade-off. One of the most important things I learned about it was, especially with my disorder, it's the community around it, the people around you.
Mental health issues do not discriminate. So we need to be mentally aware and mentally prepared.
The call for lifestyle changes that promote healthy living continues, and parents are urged to instill this culture in their children.
Anna, you're special, very, very special to me, Anna.
Yes, Mom, I know.
And today I want to have a special conversation with you about taking care of your body.
Okay, Mom, what do you mean?
Alright, so today we're going to talk about taking care of a very special part of your body, and that's your heart. Do you feel the heart beating? Yes, and I'm going to talk to you about taking care of your heart.
Oh, I see. Yes, I learned about the heart in school.
Wow, you're so smart.
You normally go unaware of it beating 100,000 times per day as you move about. But what if it stopped and you could have prevented that? This complex and delicate organ is responsible for pumping the blood supply that carries oxygen and the nutrients needed for your body to function properly. It's time to stop and find out what you need to do to keep your heart beating. Professor Ernest Madu is an internationally recognized nuclear cardiologist, as well as the founder and chairman of the Heart Institute of the Caribbean. He tells us what is normal in heart health.
If you're looking for what is a normal heart rate, it's usually, we say it's about 60 to 100 beats per minute. Normal blood pressure, we want to keep it systolic, the top one. It should be around 120. And the bottom one should be less than 70. Those will be what we'll consider normal. If it's high, it's hypertension. If it is low, it's hypotension. So very high blood pressure is not good. Very low blood pressure can also cause problems. Very high heart rate is a problem. Very low heart rate is also a problem.
It's only about the size of a fist, but has a huge responsibility as it bears the weight of supporting all the other organs in the body. To practice good heart health, you will first need to understand the risks of having a bad heart.
Cardiovascular diseases, including heart disease and stroke, are the commonest cause of death and disability in Jamaica. We estimate, just from our own studies, we estimate that perhaps more than 7,500 people have a heart attack every year in Jamaica the first time. And then about half of that number have a second heart attack. Many people with heart attack will not survive unless appropriate intervention happen in a timely manner.
Leading the cause factors for poor heart health is obesity and preconditions such as diabetes and hypertension. The call remains loud for people to take seriously the lifestyle changes that support hearty living. Parents are encouraged to develop this culture in their children.
Parents must adequately inform themselves because you can't train somebody in what you don't know. Encourage your children to get out of the house and be active and exercise, and watch your children what they eat and make sure their weight is ideal, and begin early to train the children on the ways, the habits that they need to form early in life, that can help to keep their risk for heart disease at bay.
Research in the field of cardiology is growing, providing more information to help us make wise choices for our heart health.
One of the major causes of heart failure, especially in Black people, that is recognized now is called cardiac amyloidosis. And it used to be almost universally fatal. But now there are treatment options and there are diagnostic mechanisms for this. We're working with Yale University to launch that project here in Jamaica. So there's been a mountain of advances happening, whether it's cardiac imaging, personalized medicine, genomic treatment strategies, remote patient monitoring.
On a personal level, Jamaicans are being urged to get active and do regular medical checkups.
We also have to be mindful about the role of exercise and physical activity in protecting ourselves from heart disease and other non-communicable ailments that are associated with sedentary lifestyles or inactivity. The Minister of Health, Dr. Tufton, has been aggressive in pushing Jamaicans to get out and exercise. And I think that is a step in the right direction. Early detection is very important. We need to recognize that the idea that every pain is gas is not helpful. When people feel that discomfort, they need to seek medical attention.
Mom, so what can I do to take care of my heart?
So Anna, you have to exercise. So like praying that you always do. And also, Anna, I need you to start eating those veggies, even the ones that you don't like. And I need you to go to bed on time as well. And guess what? Never forget to laugh, all right? Never forget to laugh. And you must not forget these tips, all right, Anna? You must take this throughout your life.
Thank you so much for the talk, Mom. I will never forget it.
All right, my sweet Anna.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us and, of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
With so much happening online, we sometimes risk exposing ourselves to unsafe activities that can compromise our security. So what should we watch out for? Let's find out in our cybersecurity feature.
Cybercriminal activities are on the rise, affecting the lives of people worldwide, resulting in a need to increase the awareness of all citizens. The Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology has been making the internet more accessible to all of us, but with that comes greater responsibility.
As the government aggressively moves to creating the digital knowledge-based society, it is very important to ensure that citizens, businesses, everybody understands the responsibility that comes along with using technology. The government of Jamaica continues to move with help from the Universal Service Fund, it's an agency under the ministry, to broaden access to technology and the internet by creating public Wi-Fi services and deploying community access points. This is an effort to ensure that everyone has access to the internet and cyberspace.
The ever-increasing popularity of social media platforms and its dark side has prompted the Stop, Think, Connect campaign.
Stop, Think, Connect brings out general safety practices, and we encourage persons to stop and think. Actually, you find at times you're going to post a selfie, for example, and you take that selfie. We encourage you to stop and think before you actually post that selfie. Is it necessary to post? Do the people really need to see this? Do I really need to post this? What effect can it have in the future?
Stop, Think, Connect is not just geared towards our personal use of the internet. It should be incorporated in our work lives as well.
Cybersecurity in the workplace is everyone's business, A lot of institutions worldwide, and Jamaica is not excluded from this, have been impacted by ransomware and other malware. A lot of times what we find is that it's that end user that clicked on an email link, an attachment, or went to a website that they shouldn't have. We have to make an effort now to not only educate users, but actual persons at all levels within institution to be aware of the threat that is out there. Because when an organized cybercrime is coming, it's usually targeted at critical infrastructure.
Critical infrastructure such as energy, water, telecoms, and media are just some of the targeted areas. Ignore pop-ups when they appear on your computer and never trust emails from questionable sources. By opening any of the following, you may be giving a virus a free access pass to your devices. There are several antivirus and anti-malware software on the market. Use them. And also remember to keep your private information private. Passwords, driver's license, national identification number, traveling and banking information should not be saved on public computers. Cybersecurity is our shared responsibility. Let's play our part. Stop, think, connect.
Are you aware of how Jamaican adolescents use social media? What do they do online? What do they post? Do you know if they are being harassed? These are questions you should be asking yourself because it is your duty to keep your children safe online. Parents, here's what you need to do. Be active online and offline. Help your child to set up his or her online profile. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the different social media applications that they use and set some rules. Protect our nation's children and save them from cybercriminal attacks.
And that's it for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative show. Remember to visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.